Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is December 4th, and that means day 338 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, in the most recent release of Filament Friday by Chuck Houellebecq, otherwise known as CHEP's 3D Printing and Electronics over on YouTube, he created this very cool Christmas Advent calendar. And I thought it was pretty awesome, and I just had to print it. And it really turned out cool, and I can't wait to share it with you guys, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 338 of the 3DP 365 project. As I was saying in the introduction, Chuck Houellebecq runs this cool little channel here on YouTube called CHEP's 3D Printing and Electronics. And every Friday he puts out an episode called Filament Friday, where he shows you the walkthrough and printing of a really cool item, whether it be practical or just fun. And every year he puts together this really cool Christmas Advent calendar, and that's what we printed today. And our print actually turned out really good. I had absolutely no problems with this model whatsoever. And Chuck's a very talented Tinkercad designer. Definitely go check out his stuff. I'll put all that information down in the description. And this is a very cool model too. It actually comes in 3 pieces. You get the 2 blocks and you get the little holder. And originally we printed everything out in red, but I thought it needed a little splash of color and it would make the days a little bit easier to see. Now I was going to print it out in my forest green color from Matterhackers, a color I really like using, but I'm saving that for another advent calendar that I'm doing on a daily basis. But I wanted an advent calendar I could take to work to remind me how many days were left before Christmas, and this was perfect for that task. So I wanted to print out the blocks in white so it would be a little bit easier to see. So I reprinted the blocks separately after I printed everything together in red. And we did use Matterhackers filament. We did use Standard Series for the red, and this is actually the Pro PLA for the white. And it actually prints out really good. Both of these, there was no problems whatsoever with the printing. And we downloaded this model from Thingiverse, and I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can download and print this one yourself. And once we had it downloaded, we sent it over to Simplify 3D for slicing. In Simplify 3D, I put all 3 models on the build plate, and the one thing I did change on positioning of the models is I made the 1 facing down, because I figured that would be the easiest one with bridging and probably wouldn't have any problems. Because some of the other letters or numbers actually have a little centerpiece in them, and I didn't want that to pop off during the printing. So I rotated the blocks so the 1 would be facing down. And I printed all 3 items at once. We did use a 0.2 millimeter layer height with 4 top layers, 3 bottom layers, and 3 perimeters. I also used 20% infill on this model because I wanted it to be strong and wanted to make sure these blocks were heavy duty and they wouldn't break if they ever got dropped. We also printed this out at 35 millimeters per second because there is some fine type on here. And I did use the Allow Gap Fill feature within Simplify 3D just to make sure all the letters would fill in. And they actually did fill in really nicely. It turned out perfect. There were absolutely no problems with the print. It's only about a 5-hour print depending on your print speed in your printer and what your filament settings and everything else in Simplify 3D. But Simplify 3D said about 5 hours and change, and it took about 6 hours total to print all 3 items. But like I said, I went back and printed the blocks again separately in Matterhackers Pro Series White because I wanted a little splash of color. And they only take 2 hours to reprint, of course, depending on your print speed. And I left all the settings the same. I still wanted a lot of infill on my blocks. And I did want a lot of infill on the actual holder too, and that's why I set 20%. Because I don't know if you can see through this or not, maybe you won't be able to, but there is a little bit of infill, and I just didn't want to do top and bottom layers and make this a solid piece of plastic either, because there's more chance of warping. Because it does print flat, just like this. So you will have to customize your bridge settings, because my gMax 1.5 XT Plus is excellent at bridging, and I didn't even have to worry about it. But like I said, the prints turned out perfect. Chuck, you did an amazing job on the design. Thank you once again for sharing your work over on Thingiverse, and of course your Filament Friday episode every Friday, where I actually saw this being done and I knew I had to print it. So thank you, Chuck, for sharing all your work. Definitely go check out his stuff on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. He's definitely a really active member of the community, and he's got a really good voice on everything 3D printing, CNC, electronics. He's a really good, knowledgeable person. But the model he made was awesome, and I really love it, and I can't wait to take it to work to remind me just how many days are left before Christmas. Well, that about wraps it up for day 338 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you guys found this episode interesting and informative, and if you're looking for ways to support the channel, Check out those affiliate links down in the description. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.